Tommy DeVito, an Italian man who grew up in New Jersey and is now the starting quarterback for his hometown team, the New York Giants. This is the roller coaster story of Giants legend, Tommy DeVito. DeVito grew up in Cedar Grove, New Jersey in a very Italian household with his two parents and brother. He attended Don Bosco Prep High School and absolutely lit up the high school game. In his junior season of high school, he threw for 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns, leading his team to a 9-3 record and a state championship. After his junior season, things only started to go up for the Jersey kid, because in his senior season, DeVito threw for 2,005 yards and 16 touchdowns. And after his high school career was over, DeVito wasn't the most sought after quarterback coming out of high school, being only a 3-star recruit according to 247 Sports. And DeVito ultimately decided to commit to play football at Syracuse, declining other offers such as Yale, Boston College, and Maryland. And with that, DeVito's college career started. DeVito redshirted his freshman season in 2018 at Syracuse and mostly served as backup to quarterback Eric Dungy. But in the little action he did see, he played pretty well, throwing for 525 yards and 4 touchdowns, and leading his team to a victory against Florida State, a game where Dungy was injured. And in this game, he completed 11 of 16 passes for 144 yards and a touchdown, and also rushing for a touchdown, as he led the Orange to a 30-7 win. Going into his redshirt sophomore season in 2019, DeVito saw more playing time and played just alright, passing for 2,360 yards and 19 touchdowns, and also rushed for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns as well. This was DeVito's first taste of being a starting quarterback at the college level, and although having some bright spots, there was a lot of work to be done if he wanted to play at the next level. The 2020 season didn't treat DeVito too kindly, as he completed 48 of his 96 pass attempts for 593 yards and 4 touchdowns through the first 4 games of the season, before suffering a season-ending leg injury against Duke. And in 2021, looking to bounce back after his sluggish 2020 season was cut short, DeVito did not get off to a great start, as through the first 6 weeks of the season, he looked lost out there and was not looking like a quarterback that could play in college, let alone the NFL, which led to the benching of him, being replaced by transfer Garrett Schrader. And with seemingly no future at Syracuse, DeVito looked to see if the grass was greener anywhere else, and decided to enter the transfer portal, eventually transferring to Illinois to play his 5th and final season of college football. The pressure was on. It was now or never for the Jersey kid. His first breakout game was against Wisconsin, where DeVito did much of his damage with his legs, scoring 3 rushing touchdowns and winning 34-10. He finished that season passing for 2,650 yards, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 6 touchdowns on the ground. And the question on if DeVito had what it takes to be an NFL caliber quarterback was really up in the air. DeVito did, however, decide to declare for the 2023 NFL draft in hopes of at least one of the 32 teams taking a shot on him. And the 7 rounds came and went, as 14 quarterbacks were drafted, and DeVito unfortunately wasn't one of them. There wasn't a single team out there that thought he was a good enough quarterback to get drafted, but there was a team that did think he was good enough to get a preseason roster spot as an undrafted free agent, and that team was his hometown team, the New York Giants. It was a known fact that DeVito was going to have to impress a lot of people to be able to get a spot on the 53-man roster, as there were 2 clear quarterbacks ahead of him on the depth chart. Those 2 quarterbacks being newly extended quarterback Daniel Jones and highly touted backup Tyrod Taylor. DeVito got his first opportunity to show the Giants what he had to offer in the first week of the preseason, where he played most of the game, throwing for 155 yards and 1 touchdown, to go along with an interception. A solid performance from the undrafted rookie, granted it was against a third-team defense. In week 2 of the preseason, DeVito saw less snaps as the starter Daniel Jones and backup Tyrod Taylor both got reps with the first and second teams. DeVito did, however, get 11 dropbacks, where he completed 9 of them for 88 yards. Again, a solid performance for an undrafted rookie playing against third-team players. Starting to see a trend? In the last preseason game, DeVito saw his most playing time of the preseason, where he dropped back for 29 passes, completing 19 of them for 210 yards and a touchdown, and an interception. A really good last impression for the team, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough to convince GM Joe Shane nor head coach Brian Daboll for a spot on the 53-man roster. However, they did decide to keep him on the team as an emergency third quarterback for the team. DeVito's time to shine did in fact come in week 9 against the Jets, with Daniel Jones out with injury and backup Tyrod Taylor fracturing his ribs in the first half of the game. The Giants were down to their third and final quarterback option, Mr. Gabagool himself, Tommy DeVito. And with his first taste of regular season NFL action, he wasn't even trusted to throw the ball past the line of scrimmage. Brian Daboll made it clear he didn't quite have the trust in the Italian kid from Jersey, with him only passing the ball 7 times and only completing 2 of them for a whopping -1 yard. Brian Daboll instead looked to running back Saquon Barkley to carry the team to victory, and for most of the second half, it was looking like it was going to work. But the Jets inevitably won the game 13-10, and it wasn't looking good for DeVito. In the following week, starting quarterback Daniel Jones returned from injury. However, DeVito was slotted to be the backup to Jones with the injury to Tyrod Taylor in the week prior. And what do you know? Early in the Week 10 game against the Raiders, Jones went down with a torn ACL, and it was yet again another chance for DeVito to shine. In this game, with a little more trust from Dable, DeVito threw for 175 yards on 20 attempts, with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions, and a 30-6 loss. Not the greatest game from him, but he did show promise. And in the following week, DeVito got his first chance to start an NFL game. However, it was against Super Bowl contenders, the Dallas Cowboys, and DeVito and the Giants looked terrible as they lost 49-17. And with that loss and Jones looking to be out for the season, Giants fans all around the world lost all hopes for the playoffs, and were looking on to next season. However, DeVito and the Giants had other plans, as in Week 12 against division rivals the Commanders, DeVito and the Giants beat them in a 31-19 victory, a game where DeVito played nearly flawless, putting up a stat line of 246 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. After this game, Giants fans raised an eyebrow at DeVito, coining the nickname Tommy Cutlets and Mr. Gabagool. And in the next week against the Patriots, he did what he needed to do to come out with a 10-7 win, throwing for 191 yards and a touchdown, and yet again, another game without an interception. This was the first time this season that the Giants strung together 2 wins in a row, and with the bye week on the horizon, DeVito and the Giants took time to prepare for the game against the Packers, a primetime Monday Night Football game. And with seemingly the whole football media having an eye on DeVito, he came out and performed, throwing for 158 yards and a touchdown, to go along with 71 rushing yards and yet again, a game without an interception, which led to the 24-22 win. This has marked 3 games in a row the Giants have won, and it seems that DeVito and the Giants are getting better and better through the weeks. And with the playoffs technically not out of the picture for the Giants, Tommy DeVito has a chance to seemingly do the impossible and lead this team to the playoffs. A seemingly impossible task, but with Tommy DeVito under center, it seems as though anything is possible.